Okay, so we're getting started, and this video is my second video, and it's going to be on Ascendant and Sagittarius. And excuse my movie in the background, hopefully it won't distract you. So, to start with Ascendant and Sagittarius, we're going to start on the appearance. So, and I'm looking at my notes. The appearance is very like horse-like, equine-like. It's very... They'll often have a long face, and the bottom of their face will come out. And I'm making all these gestures because I'm Ascendant Sagittarius, so the bottom part of the face, like the jaw, will kind of stick out. Not in an overbearing way, but just, you know, if you can picture a horse, its face is like, and that's how Ascendant Sagittarius will look. They'll have a very horse-like face, huge teeth. Usually the front two teeth, and I'm just showing you because I'm an example, very big. Or they could have a gap. They could have big teeth, spaced out teeth, like chiclet teeth kind of. They're usually very big in appearance. But they usually have a nice smile, and that's because Sagittarius also is about humor. So even though their smile is big and horse-like, it's also pleasing to look at it. They have a very natural, beautiful smile because they're meant to smile because they're Ascendant Sagittarius. And I'll insert some pictures too of other people who are not necessarily Ascendant and Sagittarius, but are Sagittarius influenced, and I can show you, like Nicki Minaj, for example. Put some pictures of myself. Some other people who just have that equine, I hope I'm saying that right, equine look or horse-like face. Another huge trait is they usually have wild hair. And a lot of times it can look messy because they don't really do it that much. And by wild, I mean however you would look if you would let your hair grow for like a couple years and you didn't cut it, you didn't really style it, and you just let it be free. That's usually how their hair is. So a lot of white people you can see with dreads or long curly hair. It's usually long because they don't cut it, because they don't maintain it. And not because they're dirty or they don't care, but usually it's because they are too busy doing other things, more important things, than to worry about a haircut. So very wild hair. I have very wild hair. You can't tell right now because it's straightened, but I'll insert some pictures. But it's usually pretty crazy looking. And I would say if the hair is too polished, or if they do get it done, it doesn't look right. Like I'll find sometimes if I wake up in the morning and my hair is a little messy, I'll be like, oh, it looks good. Let me brush it down. Let me, you know, get it right. And then it just looks too perfect. Like it doesn't look good. It looks like fake or weird or something. Like if you try to make these people too polished or too, you know, put together, it almost looks worse than if you would just let them stay messy. Like it can look strange sometimes. So the polished look isn't for them. The kind of bohemian free look is more, I think, what they'd be going for. Part of the video. So. Now, the appearance when it comes to the body is usually very long and lanky. The Ascendant Sagittarius is about bigness because it's ruled by Jupiter, so it's about being big. So the body will usually be very long and lanky. So this person's probably gonna, I won't even say be skinny, they're just gonna look skinny, kind of like a string bean, or like, you know, like a pole, like a stick figure. Not that there's so much skinny, their body is just looks very stretched out. So long, lanky, they're usually very tall. If they're not big in that way, the other way is that they can be very short and round. Or a lot of times Sagittarius can just be big all the way around. They could be tall and they could just have big hands, big feet, big. They could just be big. Like they could just take up a lot of space. So that's usually what the body looks like. And I know a lot of women with Ascendant Sagittarius, and they don't necessarily like their bigness, but it just comes with, you know, part of the territory, part of being an Ascendant Sagittarius, and the men usually don't mind. So they have a very large presence. First of all, they're physically big, so you're gonna see them. And a lot of times they have a very loud laugh, a loud voice. They're just very over the top and boisterous in their appearance, so you're gonna notice them. Once again, because they're ruled by Jupiter, so they're probably laughing, dancing, out to eat. You know, they're doing something fun, doing something humorous. And I would say just somebody that you can't miss. Usually because they're so big. If you ever, I would say the best way to see someone's ascendant is to just watch them maybe from across the room. If you're ever looking at a Sagittarius ascendant from across the room, and they're usually being goofy, they're like dancing, joking. You just look at them and they just look like they're doing something stupid, and it just, you can see them from down the hall and they'll just make you laugh. And you might not even know what they're talking about, what they're doing. They usually just come off as funny or comical in some way, or they usually just have a way of making people laugh just by looking at them. And a lot of times their appearance can make you laugh either because they're physically kind of funny looking, or they might have like a funny shirt, like just a shirt like with a meme on it, or just something goofy, something dumb that you would just like nobody else has but they wore, and it just makes you laugh. Their appearance just is funny. What else? Now, although they're very physically active because they're a fire sign, they're also really clumsy. Like Sagittarius, just not even just the ascendant, but all Sagittarius is known for being clumsy. So that's part of, I guess that's part of the half centaur, half man thing. It's like that's the best of both worlds, I guess. That's like what Sagittarius fights. They got this higher mind and they're like human, but they also have this inner like animal type urge to just have fun and gallop around. So they struggle with that. They're trying to be, you know, cordial and professional and walk with grace and style and whatever that everyone else does, but yet they kind of got hooves for feet in a sense. So they're pretty clumsy. These people are really about like foreign travel, so they're usually always going somewhere, and it doesn't have to be anywhere crazy. It doesn't have to be overseas. Like they look at travel as an adventure, so they can go to a store that they've never been to in their neighborhood. They can go to the neighboring city, the neighboring state. They can go out of state, out of country. They can go around the world. As long as they're traveling somewhere they've never been and experiencing something that they've never experienced, it's pretty, that's pretty much their MO. They love to travel and they love to do new things. And if you're a Sagittarius Ascendant and you can't travel, or you're with someone and it's maybe not in your budget because it is expensive, you don't have to break the bank and go to India. You can go, you know, try a new restaurant that you've never tried. You know, just walk around and find a new street you've never walked down. That in itself is an adventure to them. And now, as far as their appearance, they may actually look foreign in appearance, and this will aid in their travels. Because, you know, if you can't tell what somebody is, they kind of can blend in and fit in everywhere. So they may have a foreign appearance where you're like, I can't really place what this person's race is. But that's a good thing, because then they'll be able to go all the places they want to go and be able to fit in or assimilate more easily and have a better time when they go. So another thing that I want to get into is the mind of the Sagittarius Ascendant. So they are very easily bored, and so a lot of times if they can't travel, what they might do is use drugs as a way to escape or a way to travel, because it's a way to go somewhere else. But if you can't physically go somewhere else, the next step is to mentally go somewhere else. So they might use drugs as an adventure, as a risk, as a adrenaline rush kind of, in order to satisfy that desire to go somewhere else, satisfy that desire to not just always be in the same place every day. which I'm not gonna say if done right, but you know, do it in moderation and do it safely. Yeah. Mentally, I would say that they're always somewhere, they're always doing something. There's always something going on in the mind, whether if they're not doing drugs, if they're not having a deep philosophical conversation, if they're not thinking about something funny, the mind is always working. And when they stay in one place too long, there's not a lot of new stimulation, so the mind is like getting bored. It's like gasping for air. It's like, okay, I need something new so I can think or make a joke or do whatever it needs to do. It needs to feed off new experience. So that's why they always have to move, because you're not really going to get a lot of new experience if you go to the same places every day and you're talking to the same people and you're seeing the same things. There's only so many ways you can do one thing a different way. So that's part of the reason why they always need to travel. They're very into language. They're very into foreign language. So I am Ascendant and Sun in Sagittarius, and my aspiration is to be a translator. These people can be very into foreign language, and that's because a lot of times we'll have an inclination. Any sign can have an inclination or a natural skill that will help them do what it is they came to do. Like Libra has people skills because Libra likes people. So I feel like God kind of gave us each sign a gift to help them go where they're going. So Sagittarius has a propensity to want to learn other languages, even if they just know little phrases. They usually know more phrases and more words from a different language than the average person. And that helps them too, because when they travel, they want a real authentic experience. And so if they can't talk, they're not the people that are going to travel somewhere and stay on a resort and, you know, use the tour guide the whole time. Like, they want to go, they want to explore, they want to talk to the people, they want to travel, they want to have an adventure. And a great way to do that is if you can talk to the people. If you can't, you can still have the adventure, it just won't be as, it can be more. So they really like foreign language, and even if they don't ever study it officially, they usually are really good at picking up foreign language really fast, even just little phrases and stuff. So like a cool, you know, gift that they have. And a lot of times they might just like to learn it just to learn it. Like if you've ever seen people who are polyglots, they learn languages just to learn languages. They're really interested in foreign things. Even if they don't go somewhere physically, like I said, it can be in the mind. They can watch a foreign movie. When I was a teenager, I used to watch entire movies, not in English, like it'd be subtitles. I used to watch Chinese news, like Brazilian game show. Like they just like foreign things, foreign music. I love reggae. I like some Bollywood music. Spanish music, American music. They're into anything foreign culture, which is another reason why they like to learn the language. But even if they don't, they just like, you know, being in that vibe, I guess you could say. If you're Sagittarius Ascendant, more than any other placement, more than any other Sagittarius placement, like forget about the sun, the moon, whatever, you are destined, you are meant, you were born to travel. And if you don't, I think you'd really be doing yourself a disservice. And like I said, you don't have to travel the world. Although if you did, it would be amazing. Like, I feel like everyone's meant to travel, but if you're Ascendant in Sagittarius, like you're destined. You are meant to travel the world, to see, to experience different cultures. You are meant to kind of go around the globe and back, you know, even a couple times if you can. Like, it is for you to do. So if you're Sagittarius Ascendant and you don't travel, I would say even if you just do once a year and you could take a trip to somewhere, anywhere, it's meant for you. It would feed your soul. It would make you a more happy person, more fulfilled. You would just feel more right in yourself and in your body, because that's what you're meant to do. Another trait about Ascendant Sagittarius, and this really goes for any Sagittarius placement, is that they are like the biggest party animals. Like, these people hate to be bored, and they get bored easily. So these people are always out, and it doesn't necessarily have to be a party, but they're always out doing something. It's usually something fun, or they're having fun doing it. So these are the people I would say who are like go to the bar 7 days a week. Like I work with this guy. He's a Sagittarius sun and Mars is Sagittarius. And when I say every single day after work, I'm like, hey Keenan, where you going? And he's like, oh yeah, I'm going to this bar. Oh yeah, I'm going to this movie. Oh yeah, me and my friend are going out to do this. Oh, we're gonna do that. Like he never just works an 8-hour shift and goes home. He always goes somewhere after. And every time I see him in the morning time, beginning of the shift, he's always like in the corner half dead drinking a Red Bull. And I'm like, what happened? Where'd you go? He's like, oh, I was at the bar last night. Like these people like to have a good time. They're not gonna go home every night and cook for you. I mean, if you're in a relationship, do not expect to be a homebody at all. They hate it. They get bored. And I mean, it doesn't have to be 7 days a week. How often they go out really depends on the individual and their life and stuff like that. But when they can go out, when they get some free time, not too much of it is going to be spent in the house. Or even if it is, you're not going to be on the couch cuddled up watching movies like maybe a Cancer or a Lazy Ass Taurus. Like they want to go out and they want to have fun. So make sure if you're with one, if you're around one, that you're ready to turn up, because this is what they do. Say if they're bored, they bolt, like they just run. And it's like, it's not even, they don't even think about it. They just like run for the hills. They're just like, I'm bored, and they just get antsy. And just imagine like a puppy or a dog or, you know, some small active animal. You just keep them in the house and they're going to, you know, they're eventually going to start running and like jumping around, and they're going to start knocking stuff off, and then they're going to be like, okay, I want to go outside. They suffocate when they get bored and when they don't travel. So, and when they feel fenced in or caged in, they bolt, which I feel like can be the downfall of Sagittarius, because just because there's a cage around you doesn't necessarily mean, like, they don't like to feel fenced in. Even if they're not physically fenced in, if they feel like in a relationship they might be fenced in, they'll bolt. Even if usually they would not have bolted. Like, let's just say, I'm trying to articulate this correctly. Let's just say every night they come home from work and they do basic stuff. They eat, they do the dishes, they watch a movie, they go to sleep. And maybe once a month they go out. That's about what they're comfortable with. And then they get in a relationship, and let's say the girl says, oh, I only want you to go out once a month. That's what they were already doing. Like, nothing's changed, but in their mind, now there's a restriction because somebody said, because they don't have a choice. Now that you've said, now that you've constricted me, they don't want to do it. Now they start going out every night. Now, and I feel like it's kind of stupid, and it can be part of their rebellious nature, because these are definitely the people and the sign. If you tell them don't do something, they do it. So if you are around one, I wouldn't even say if you're in a relationship, kid, whatever, family member, friend, whatever, don't make them feel fenced in. Let them feel like they can do whatever they want. Even if they do exactly what you say, make sure you don't say it. Make sure they feel like, oh, I can do whatever I want, and this is my idea. Because the second they feel like it's not, they're going to be out. They are very spontaneous, and they have a real down for anything type of attitude. Like a Sagittarius, you can be driving to the store, and then somebody might be like, hey, come to the strip club with us. Like, it could be a complete stranger, and they'll be like, okay. If you ask them to do anything and they're free, like they don't have to go to work or something, 99% of the time they're gonna say yes. Like, literally, if I don't have something to do and you ask me to do something, I just say yes. Like, it's automatic. Like, they're down for anything, and they're very spontaneous. And to keep one, I would say you should also be spontaneous, and it doesn't have to be crazy, but just, you know, it could be anything. You could be walking down the street, and it could be like, you know, a contest, like I don't know, a juggling contest, or just any random thing that you see. They're very spontaneous, and they like to do everything, and they like to experience everything. So never prevent them from doing that. Always offer new experiences and offer new ideas, things that you guys haven't done together. And make sure you just don't settle into a routine. Make sure things are not predictable. They shouldn't know, like, every Monday we're gonna go to your mom's house and eat pasta, and every Tuesday we gotta take the kids to soccer practice, and every Wednesday we're gonna watch Netflix. And they don't like that. You can do all those things, but also add bursts of spontaneity, you know, here and there. And always try new things. And this can be from the littlest to the biggest of ways. Like, if you go to a restaurant, don't get the same thing every time. Get something different. Just always switch it up. Whatever you're doing, always switch it up. They can be very philosophical. They can be very, like, I'm not gonna say uptight. I'm gonna say very hardcore about their beliefs. Like, if they believe something, they believe it, and if you disagree, they can get very upset, and this can be kind of annoying. But this is more of a Mars and Sagittarius thing. They get upset about their beliefs, but Ascendant and Sagittarius can do the same. But any Sagittarius placement, but you know, really, Ascendant Sagittarius, you can sit. You don't even have to know them. They could be a stranger on the train, and you can walk up and be like, "So, what do you think about Trump?" And they'll tell you their beliefs. They can not necessarily debate, but discuss their ideas for hours, and they can just, and they have a lot of ideas, and they're pretty intelligent. So this is something that they like to do. Like, I've been in like a room full of not a room full, but like I have a Sagittarius friend, and I'm Sagittarius, you know, the Sun and Ascendant. And then, like, if we have another Sagittarius friend, we'll just sit and talk about an idea, a topic for hours, and we'll give our opinion, and we'll discuss, and we'll share. Now, depending on your other placements, it depends on how respectful you are and how open you are to hearing other people, which a lot of times Sagittarius is not. They just want to spread what they want, but they love to do this. So if you're ever bored and you want to talk for a couple hours, call a Sagittarius and be like, "So what do you think about taxes? Or what do you think about Trump? Or what do you think about global warming? Or what do you think about the border wall?" And they are going to go off, and you guys can talk for hours. My Sagittarius Ascendant friend, we can talk for 4 or 5 hours easy about anything. Food stamps, we could talk about insurance, we could talk about the weather, like, it can be anything. So make sure you have some good conversation topics, and you don't even have to, you can just throw out anything really, and they will go on for hours. So a huge trait about Sagittarius Ascendant that you're going to notice immediately is their humor. Laughing and joking feeds them. Like, it feeds their soul. Like, it's like they get wound up and wound up and wound up, and the only way to release that and for them to feel like themselves again is to laugh. I can't tell you, like, having a laugh sometimes just completely, it's like a tension relief. It's like how a Libra needs to socialize and a Scorpio needs to have sex. It's like it is their release, is to laugh and to joke. So they'll often be seen doing this, and because this is the Ascendant and this is the mask, they can use humor to kind of cover up what's going on in their life. If you know a Sagittarius Ascendant, they could be going through hell in their life. Like, it could be really bad, and you would never know it because, I'm sorry, whatever. You'd never know what they were going through because they often cover up and use humor to get through things. And a lot of times, this is awesome because they can make themselves laugh, even in the rough patches in their life, and on the rough days, they can look back and say, "I still got some laughs," and which is awesome. But at the same time, I feel like it kind of can suck because a lot of people around you will be like, "Joe's always laughing, always happy, always making other people laugh. You can't do that if you're upset, right?" It's not right with the Sagittarius, and they could be dying inside, and they will still make everyone laugh and be cracking up. And it's really just a mask. And a lot of times no one knows what's going on, so no one ever thinks to ask, "Are you okay? What's going on?" You seem down, and no one really gets to the deeper side because they think this person is so jokey all the time, and that's not all that there is to Sagittarius. Okay, so I turned my TV down some. Another thing I would say, oh gosh, gotta fix my setup. Another thing that I would say about Sagittarius Ascendant is that when it comes to being funny, it's really a natural talent. Like, they don't have to try, which is cool because a lot of times a Sagittarius, like, I've made people, like a whole room full of people bust out laughing so many times in my life, and I didn't even do anything. Like, I literally would be like asking a question, not trying to be funny, or I'd be like walking, or you could just do something and you'll feel like it's the most normal thing and everyone will bust out laughing. You're like, I don't even get how that was funny. I don't even get how I made everyone laugh, but you do. It's just natural. It just comes naturally. You're just a natural comedian. Like, you could be the class clown, but if you're not the class clown, you're just that person that just makes everyone laugh all the time. Like, people just know you for being jokey, and you don't even have to try. It just comes out. I work at a casino, and so I'm like facing like a table full of people all day, and they're facing me, and for 8 hours, I swear to God, I can crack jokes and have table cracking up for 8 hours. And it's not, I don't write them down, I don't try, I don't think hard about it, it just comes out. So you just have a natural talent and gift for humor, and because Ascendant is the direction that you're going in life, you might even want to let that guide you. I've thought, and my Ascendant Sagittarius friend as well, thought about writing, you know, jokes for sitcoms or presenting sketch ideas. Like, you're just naturally funny. And because this is your Ascendant, this is where you're going, this is what you're meant to do and what you're meant to be, you can use that to your advantage. You can try to pursue a career or bank on your funniness in some type of way because it comes natural to you. So why not, you know, why not make the most of it? I would say another thing about them that's not so endearing is that they have foot and mouth syndrome. A lot of times they blurt things out and they don't even think. I've done it a million times. And it's only after they've said it that they're like, oh shit, that came out really wrong. And Sagittarius is like a good-natured, positive, humorous sign. So 9 times out of 10, they didn't mean to be mean. And Sagittarius is not subtle, so if they were going to be mean, they would have just been mean. But they say stuff, and it can come out really hurtful or really rude. I've done it to others, and I've had other Sagittarius people do it to me. It's just fucking annoying either way, because it's like, you're like, oh my God. And it's like, you try to be like, okay, no, I didn't mean like that, what I meant to say. And it's like, sometimes you just dig a hole deeper and deeper and deeper for yourself. And when other people do it to me, I'm thinking to myself, like, how fucking rude. Like, how dare you say that? And then you turn, just making sure my camera was on. You turn around, and then as a Sagittarius, I have to be like, I know that you didn't mean it that way. It came out wrong, and I'm irritated, but they don't mean it. They just blurt things out, and it can just come out wrong sometimes. And I would say another thing about them, maybe this is tied to the foot and mouth syndrome, is that they're very honest. So a lot of times what they say might be funny, but it might irritate the person because it's honest. Like, even if they say, like, you know, let's say you guys are going to a wedding and everyone's all ready, and then you come out the room and your shirt is a little too small. They might say something like, looks like your buttons are about to pop. It's not till after they say it that they're like, oh my God, that was kind of mean or rude. Everyone might laugh. Now you feel like the butt of a joke. They didn't mean to make everyone laugh. And at the same time, you might be kind of mad because they're right. They're honest. They're like kids almost. Like, you know how kids just blurt stuff out, it's just funny? That's how they are. Like, think of Sagittarius as that show Kids Say the Darnest Things. Like, it's funny and it's cute and it's kind of rude, but it's super honest. And that's how they are. And that will bring me to one of my final traits for Sagittarius. I would say that they are super honest to a fault. I've had Sagittarius people say things to me and I'm like, that was fucking rude. But they're like, and they just shrug their shoulders and they're like, well, I'm just being honest. They feel like they have to speak their truth, whatever that is. And that's not always a good thing, because while they can have the courage to say what no one else does, and they can have the courage to address the elephant in the room, a lot of times, like, nobody asked you your opinion, but you give it, and then you give it in this not necessarily tactful way, even though you weren't meaning to be rude. People are like, well, what the fuck did you even comment for in the first place? Because nobody asked you. But they feel like they are 100% always. They always feel like they have the right to say what they want because they feel like this is their truth. This is what they think is the truth. And so they're going to say it. And you can't tell them not to say it because it's the truth to them. So I would say if you're a Sagittarius, be careful with that, especially aesthetic, because it's the mask you use meeting people. Don't blurt things out, and don't just give your opinion when it wasn't always expert. I mean, if it's about something mundane, like do you like sushi, then you can blurt that out all day. But if it's about someone's weight or appearance or lifestyle choice, if someone doesn't ask you, don't say it. But I feel like they're never going to do that because they don't think before they speak. So they don't even put their thoughts through the same, mental, checkpoints that the rest of us do before we say something. They can't help it. And yet at the same time, if you're ever speaking to a Sagittarius, know that they're always going to give you the truth. And of course, people can lie in relationships and there's other placements and whatnot, but the Sagittarius energy is not one to lie. So if they told you something, you can be like 95% sure that they mean that and they're not lying. I'm sorry. It's late. Honesty is one of their best traits, and it can be one of the worst, but it can also be one of the best. And a lot of times they might use humor even to tone down the truth. Like they might tell you something, and this is if a more evolved Sagittarius, like this is what I do. If I want to say something that I feel is the truth and I want to be honest, but I don't want to be mean, I'll say what I want to say in a humorous way. And so what it does is it just kind of softens the blow and it puts other people at ease because you've relayed the message, but you've also made them laugh. So now they're more open to receive it. Yeah, they don't really lie. I'm a Sagittarius Ascendant, and I don't really lie ever about anything. As a kid, yeah. But as an adult, not too much. Even about the smallest shit. I'll just tell the truth. To a Sagittarius, the consequences of telling the truth will forever be taken over a lie. Or just being yourself and being direct will forever be the path that they take versus, being deceitful or being dishonest. I remember one time I was in high school and I was in the bathroom and there was this girl and she was freaking out because she had got a tattoo from her shoulder, across her collarbone. It was words. And she got it in the wintertime. So she was wearing sweaters and stuff around her mom. And then it was, it was turning to be April and May. And it was getting hot. And she was like, I'm so sick of wearing hoodies and sweatshirts and long sleeve all the time. I don't want my mom to see I got this tattoo. And I just remember I was sitting in the bathroom and I was thinking, I could never do that. I would go home and face the consequence of my mom being mad at me for getting a tattoo without me asking, or for me being underage, any day before I would ever walk around with a damn sweater on in April for 4 months. It's just stupid. It was so stupid to me that she just wouldn't say her truth and live her truth. I'm I would never do that in a million years. I never did. Any piercing I got, any tattoo I got, anything I did, I was this is what I did. Now, whatever consequence comes from me saying that, then that happens. But I'm not about to lie and hide and sneak and cover shit up. This is what I did. So that's an admirable trait in them, I think I can say. They're usually pretty bubbly. They can turn red very easily. When I'm mad, my whole face just it just totally turns red, and then it can disappear so easily. And they can have a little bit of a sloppy appearance because they're so busy running around doing things and living life to the fullest that a lot of times they might have a stain on the shirt. Almost always I have a stain on me. Hair could be crazy. There's always something that just is if you're a mother, let's say you're a Virgo type. there's always something on them where you're like, they didn't quite get this right before they walked out of the house. Their hair might be done, but then maybe they got like all this food smeared on their face, or maybe they look good, but they didn't realize they have a big ass stain in the middle of their shirt. Like, there's always something when you look at them closely, it's like, you didn't really pay attention when you got ready this morning. So that was my little video on Ascendant Sagittarius. I hope you guys liked it. You can comment below, tell me if I missed anything. I think I got everything, and I will try to respond to your comments, and I will have more videos coming soon. All right, bye.